Alrighty, looks like I'm live. Hello again, everybody. Good to be back. This is my second game from Retrothon and also my last game. And this is technically, I guess, the start of the Disney blog here. And this is a game called Mickey no Tokyo Disneyland Daiboken. As the title suggests, this is a game that never got released outside of Japan. But yeah, I guess you could best compare it with the Magical Quest games from Capcom, and it pretty much holds its own, really. It's definitely an underrated gem that I think a lot of people would enjoy, and looking forward to showing that off for all of you. And well, I guess the title literally translates Mickey's Great Adventure in Tokyo and Disneyland, so we're just gonna go to the theme park and do some fun stuff and all that. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into it. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check the options. Because I'm gonna play on easy difficulty, there's not that much difference besides the fact that we have more health, which makes it easier to do certain damage boosts. So that's about it, really. Otherwise, the game is pretty similar. And what's the game like? Well, you'll see. So I'm gonna start the timer as soon as I select new game. So it's gonna be in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, you wonder, what is this game about? Well, it's involving balloons. A lot of balloons, as it turns out. So, yeah, it starts off with stuff here. So, yeah, in this game, Mickey has two types of balloons. Orange balloons that you see here that we use to launch ourselves. Expect a lot of heating, that's for sure. And furthermore, we also have these water balloons that we use to mainly attack enemies with. Although we do some other stuff with it as well, including pressing these buttons, for instance. That will be done pretty frequently. But in order to do it, we have to fully charge it. So there's a bit of a charge mechanic as well, where the more you charge the balloons, the more powerful they become. So in this case, we want to sometimes fully charge it to have full effect, or maybe not so much. And yeah, the orange balloons are really used to, it really defines the movement, really, as you can see. I'm just using it to really accelerate tremendously. Like, for myself, I don't really run all that quickly, so I more or less rely on my balloons to guide me along the way. But there's a lot of fun to be had. It really makes the movement tech really cool. There's a lot of variation possible as well, so it was also a fun one to learn as well. Okay, that was a diagonal there. So yeah, this first theme park, this is based on Pirates of the Caribbean. You have a couple of set pieces like this burning town and obviously fire drips and all that. Very fun. Then we have this water section. As you can see here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hop on the water, which you can do if you time it in a certain way. You have to look pretty precisely though, but you can set up for some really cool stuff like that diagonal thing there. So you can move either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, really. And depending on where I am, I want to use either one of those moves and set up the most ideal path across the screen. Sometimes you go on the water, and sometimes you fly under or over the seagulls, stuff like that. And yeah, that brings us to the first boss fight. So in this game, we're fighting Pete as the boss. So the fights themselves are pretty simple. You have to just attack, and you've got the various settings, so there's mostly that, really. So the thing is also, the longer you charge your attack, the more powerful it will become. So sometimes you can do it in fewer hits. But yeah, that was the first level. So now we encounter Daisy Duck. So you wonder, okay, what is the story exactly? So we're here in Tokyo Disneyland because Mickey and his friends are putting together this show for the guests. And it turns out that one day Mickey comes in and all of his friends have gone missing. And it turns out they've been tricked into Pete by thinking it's their day off, and they just went to go to various attractions, and yeah, now Mickey has to look for them, so that pretty much explains why there are those various attractions. And yeah, here we go. This next attraction is, as you may have guessed, based on Big Thunder Mountain. So a bit more Western themed. This first part is a nice vertical level, really. some cool stuff to do. This also is a pretty good showcase for a thing I'm gonna do here. Namely, you can also use the orange balloons to attack enemies with, but it does require you to collide at a certain moment, and you have to let go at a certain point in order for that to be successful, so you don't get hit yourself. That can be a bit tight, but it's really cool if it works out like that. Otherwise, yeah, a little bit more damage boosting here. Using this part to just go through here. Oh, oops. I wasn't looking. Yeah, this part, so this is a handcart-based section where for the first part, we're trying to launch ourselves across. We're specifically not taking the handcarts, but we're going to do some other fun stuff, and probably something that you never tried before in any attraction park, probably, but you can ride these vultures. So we're just gonna hang out here, and as you can see, this is pretty fast, so don't try this at home probably, but in video games it's totally fine. And we head down here. Now we just need to get Mickey mid the face and hope we can. So yeah, here we go, this next part. And this is where we're gonna ride the handcart, because this is a gap that we have to get over, so still get to see a little bit of that at least. Is this SMB too? Yeah, so secretly it is. Now you know. Okay, this screen is actually pretty long, so I'm trying to not die here, especially as I make progress into the screen. But there's some cool stuff here, like these wind currents that I can get past like that. So you're supposed to lay down these water balloons to build a bridge, but you can also just do that really and just skip that. There's another part later on where we have to build a bridge, but of course, as you would have guessed, we're not going to do it like entirely because it's a speed run and all that. So we're just going to lay down 4 balloons here, and for the rest, we're just going to yeet ourselves across like this. Pretty cool. So I'm going to go over here. And now this is a cool part because we're gonna go up here and bounce on this balloon and then set up hopefully a really cool trick over here, like that. And yeah, it's all about launching and releasing at the right moments. And if you do that like that, you can make for some really cool sections like that, just going through there. It can be easy to overshoot that, I must say that, but it's always cool when it works. Okay, yeah. And this is the end of this section. Thankfully we got through. And now we fight Pete on the train. So it's kind of crucial that I wait a little bit before I start attacking, because people will still be in the iframes in the beginning, so I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. And it also allows me to charge a little bit further, so that's also helpful. You remember that episode of Star Trek with Disney characters? I heard it was a pretty good one. Anyway, we found Donald. He was just enjoying the ride there. And now we're in Splash Mountain. As you would have guessed, there's going to be a lot of water here. But more on that later. First we're going to drop down here. Just a diagonal launch like this. This is a cool section because you get some extra lives and such, in case you need them. And another water hop, like that. So yeah, it all works out like that, it's pretty cool. And then we're gonna go over here. Okay, we just did that, that's too bad. And now we have another mini boss, where we're gonna fight this Battletoads-esque boss. At least, so since someone mentioned that in my chat, I have not been thinking about anything else really, so let's just call it the Battletoads boss. Yeah, so we got spikes here, and we have to launch this boss into the spikes. That's about it, really. Okay. Now comes this part. This is a really cool section if it goes well, but it can also be pretty tough sometimes. And also there's bees, which probably tells you everything you need to know. It's not just that though, there's some other stuff too. But yeah, this is a pretty long screen with quite a few things going on. And also flying fish. Because, you know, why not? Okay, we got this part here. So this upcoming section has quite a few beehives that we try not to touch, but at the same time I also want to go fast, so maybe I want to do some other things as well. Okay, that just collided like that, that's fine. But there we go, this next part is really cool, because we're supposed to ride these boats, but we're not going to do that because we've got some other cool stuff we can do, hopefully... Okay, I just missed out. But this is definitely a section where you want to have enough health, so you can set up all these potential damage boosts. But ideally you would want to go through here and land on these platforms exactly at the right moments. But yeah, there are certain ways, but it does make it faster at least. So this next part isn't too bad. Well, aside from the fact that there's bees, and as you would have seen, bees cause lag and everything, so obviously they're really bad. Just don't touch the bees. You know, that's... You probably wouldn't do that in the theme park either, but like, it probably is a good thing to point out here as well. Okay, so got more water ride goodness, and then go through here, and then... okay, I'm just gonna set it up like this. You know what? I'm gonna jump out of here, because I'm afraid of these rocks. They tend to drop on me. Where are the lines? I don't know. I haven't seen any lines. It's maybe it's because I'm performing the show, and maybe I could just skip the lines. I don't know. Okay, so it's time for the next boss fight, and you think, well, you got 1 health. How will you do that? Well, turns out it's not too bad, because you can just stand here. We first have to go to Pete to trigger the boss fight, and then we just wait over here, balloon in hand, and we just have to wait for these alligators to drop from the sky. And just gonna lay down this balloon, then attack the rest. So there's gonna be 4 phases of this, and as long as you're standing over here, you're entirely safe, regardless of your health, so pretty handy. And it's, I think to a large degree, it is scripted. There's not a lot of variance in there, so usually it works out like this, really. But yeah, as soon as I'm done with that, I can run over there, and then we can just watch Pete as the floor collapses, and then... Oh, oops. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is on the SNES, or in this case the Super Famicom, since it never got released outside of Japan. There's a translation patch, though. So there's a funny thing. Once I was trying to figure out the storyline, because the category page on Twitch seems to indicate that this involves a kidnapping of sorts, where all Mickey's friends got kidnapped, but the translation seems to indicate that they were just tricked into thinking it was their day off. So, yeah, you tell me what it is. I must say it's admirably undramatic, if it's not involving kidnappings, I guess. So, yeah, this is the Haunted Mansion, so it's getting a little bit more spoopy. Of course, there's spikes as well. That's also pretty spooky. Central here are these 4 doors that I have to enter, and I have to turn on a button in order to gain access to the last door. So go from right to left. This is a really large room. This really utilizes the vertical launch height, launching whatever. And what I do also is I do hold down the jump button, because it does help me to gain a little bit of extra height. So you didn't know that was a thing, but it does actually work to your advantage. So yeah. Oh yeah, this part upcoming. There's gonna be a flashing warning, just to point it out. Very brief, but there you go. So I did a funny thing just now with that water balloon. Is I stood close to the door and I just threw the water balloon, and normally speaking I'm supposed to drop a fully charged water balloon, but in this case I could just do that and open the door and just run through it. It's a bit of a strat. We're going to be utilizing it a couple of times, but it's pretty cool. Why is the game so dark? Well, I mean, it's a Haunted Mansion, unless it's really, really dark, but... I'm not sure. Okay, so this next door, this is supposed to be like a door maze, sort of. But in this case, we more or less know where to go. Since we can just drop down here, this brings us to this door. We go outside and then go to the door left, and that's the door where we want to go. So turns out it's a pretty easy solution regardless. Yeah, it's probably just this level. I need to look over at my OBS perhaps to see if anything is missing, but it seems fine on my end at least, so... Oh yeah, by the way, here's some more chests for those who love magnet chests. Here's a lot of them. We just have to defeat them and then press the button. I do try to hit them from the side, because as it turns out, you can actually collide with them that way as well, and you can do the button press a little bit faster that way. Okay, this part, I'm gonna try and get in ahead of the ghost. See? Might take me a few tries though, but... it can be a bit of a tough timing. Huh? Okay, there we go. 5th try, but... yeah, so what I tried to do there, normally speaking you're supposed to take the stairs, but you can get past that ghost and just fly up there. It reduces a ton of lag, let me tell you that. Every single time you drop one of these stairs, it causes lag. So this is like 1,000 times. Even if I get it 5th try, it does save time over going the usual path. So now we get into this room with all these busts that we have to defeat. From what I've understood, this is actually also a feature of the theme park itself, so I guess it's accurate. I'm not sure if we're doing this though in the theme park, but that's fine. Okay, like I said, side button press, always fun. Seems to work pretty well. The elder female duck, that must be Grandma Duck. That's the only, yeah, that's the character that you last saw on Splash Mountain. So for this last room, we have to deal with these knights. Also, there's some timing involved with this right here, because there's pits, which is always wonderful. Some more door cheese strats as well. And then this whole room of knights that we're gonna try and get past. And all to laying down this balloon and then press this button and then get out there again. Except everybody has now woken up and now I have to get past them. Which is not too bad, just need to, you know, get back there. Oh, the restream. Okay, that might be, yeah. On my end, it's should be fine at least. I don't know. Anyway, those were the 4 doors. So now we're outside. Yay! This is the graveyard. Even more ghosts. Most importantly, though, there's going to be some things where I try to get past certain gaps, and you see these spirits come out there. You want to make sure not to get hit by them, but because as soon as you get hit by them, you will instantly lose your flight momentum. It'll just drop down. So that is not great if that happens. So now we fight Pete the Ghost, who's just kind of flying around really and having a time. And I just try to attack him, especially in this second phase, because he can fly either to the front or all the way down. So you have to watch out for that. It can be easy to miss that, but otherwise it's not too bad. It can be trolly, yeah. I remember in the beginning when I was learning that graveyard section, I was struggling with those ghosts. Like, finding a good setup for it, it is possible, but yeah, you just need to get the hang of it, really. Alright, so that brings us to space, or almost. We're gonna go to Space Mountain. Starts with this huge escalator, where there's also a part missing. So it's very family friendly, I guess. Anyway, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna press some more buttons and also skip some stuff as well. Oh, that was... I want to set up something there. Get out of the way. But yeah, we're gonna do some other fun stuff as well. Namely, first we're gonna get rid of this one here, and then do this. Because you can actually launch yourself over that second button, and kind of similar to in the previous level, you can kind of make things a little bit quicker that way. Now I got these huge marbles. So especially for the Marble Madness fans, this is these are the huge marbles. So now we're in this room, more of these tiny hopping droids or robots or whatever. Gonna launch ourselves over here. And then this is where we can do this, and then... Oh, usually it doesn't appear over there. That's a new one. Okay. That's fine, though. A little bit low in health, but it's not too much of a concern right now. Okay, you can actually go either up or down, but this is where you need to go anyway. Brings you in this room with all these fans blowing. You kind of have to steer yourself in the opposite direction, so as not to get yourself hurt there. So, and get yourself to the next teleport. Yeah, marbles. Exactly. There were a couple of. I'm supposing they were marbles. Okay, there was another mimic chest just in case you were missing those. They have those in space too. Okay, heading to the right. So this room may seem pretty similar to the one that we were just in, except it's not entirely the same room. Also, we got this wonderful invincibility here that'll make this part a lot easier. So just gonna do some diagonal stuff here. Twice actually, then we launch ourselves forward like that, and then it's time for a ride. Because at this Space Mountain, it's known for, well, this ride, I guess. Except we're not really gonna take this ride, we're gonna skip this. So we're gonna head down here instead. And this is always fun. We just fly through the air and just recharge a balloon a couple of times, in this case 4 times. And then we get ourselves in this gap. You really have to be careful about fully charging the balloon, because it can be easy to miss that, but with a little bit of practice it's doable, and it skips a lot of stuff in this level, in this part. Who knew Mickey was so dangerous? Yeah, he's living on the edge. Okay, here's a floor clip, by the way. Just to make that part easier. So here's Pete in space. This is a pretty RNG heavy fight, potentially. Depends on what Pete will be doing. So we can only attack him when he's not sliding. So we'll just try to deal with that. We'll probably be seeing a lot of this though, so just, you know, hanging around. And then just hope for another chance of attacking, because he seems to really love doing this. Like, apparently this is more fun than the ride itself, really, so I'm supposed to believe that. Yeah, like I said, he really loves it. that was such a short slide, that was so funny. Yeah, first try, yeah. I've had some issues with that before, but I got a new PB recently and I got their first try as well. It's always cool when that happens. So the timing is a bit weird, but anyway, we found Goofy. This part I'm gonna focus on for a little bit because it's a bit precise, but it's really cool. Because level 6 starts off with a trick for sure. So you got these spike walls that you're trying to get past, but it pretty much starts as soon as you enter the level, so you really have to watch out that you're not wasting too much time, or else you might not be able to set it up like this. But if you can get it, if you can pull it off, it's always fun to pull off. Okay, so this is supposed to be a riddle. You have to figure out where to enter, and you just go through here because the solution is always the same as it turns out. If you love spikes, here's some more, because now, normally speaking, you can drop your water balloons and you can make platforms, but well, as you would have expected, we're not going to do that. We're just going to fly through here instead. And if you have enough health, you can do that. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit trickier, but yeah, at least it worked out. International Pete Station. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Okay, so I took an intentional death here because this room is really long. For those who have seen the speedrun before or who have been speedrunning it before, know that this room can be a bit of a nightmare. Especially if, say, you're on pace and you're dying somewhere later in the room. But Yeah, it's just really long, and there's quite a few things going on, but it is a fun one regardless. There's some cool stuff here. So, do this. There's another gap there. I totally overshot that, by the way. It's fine. We got these wrecking balls, so we're just gonna do a diagonal launch. So we can just get ourselves past that. Same for this. Okay, this part is gonna be a bit trickier, but hopefully this works out, because we have to do this once again. And hopefully I can get a door despawn. It'll be really cool. Okay, before it's... Ooh, okay, nice. So, that's the thing you can do. You can actually get a door despawn there if you set it up a certain way at a certain height. Otherwise, you have to press the button at the top, and then you have to launch yourself through there. But that was really cool. You can do that, actually. Okay, now for a time for this mini-boss, this dragon. It's possible to get yourself in a certain position that you don't always get hit there. So it's roughly around here, which is nice. It saves you a little bit of health. It's pretty helpful for later. This is still part of Tokyo Disneyland, believe it or not, yes. This is still very much part of the show. Okay, so this last part is also very fun, in that it can be pretty challenging. This definitely took me some time to get right, but there's a couple of things here. I'm also gonna grab this health over here. Oh no, I was too far. I was almost there. Okay, we're just gonna retry this room. Thankfully, this game is really forgiving when it comes to continuous alive. So even if like you're running low, and even if you have to use continuous, you can pretty much restart from a very nearby spot. So it's pretty generous. I'm not sure why that happened though. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Should probably release this. So I do grab that invincibility in the beginning to get past those spikes there. Always makes it a little bit easier. There we go. And then see, now the benefit is that I have full health, so I don't have to grab anything extra. If I need to though, I can grab those chests and get some extra health there. So for the final boss fight, that's actually a pretty good thing, as it turns out. Yeah, this can be a horrible room for sure, or some of the rooms in stage 6. It's definitely ending things on a somewhat challenging note, but very satisfying to pull off. So here we have Pete as this sort of wizard, and we got these skellies that we have to defeat. They always appear in the same position pretty much, so just drop them in a certain position and then deal with the surrounding ones. Makes it a little bit faster. So that was the first phase. The second and third phase involved this pretty much. So I have to Pete from whatever side he is on. Although he oftentimes appears over here, as it turns out. And I have to wait until his iframes run out so I can start attacking. So there's this animation and then I try to attack. That is pretty generous though, he's constantly on the right side. Make it... This is easy. So this next part is a little bit tougher because now we got these gusts of wind that are being thrown and that blow me backwards and potentially into those skeleton's arms. So that makes it a little bit tougher to deal with. But this is also why it's good to have a little bit of extra health. Okay. If I time this correctly, I can actually do this without getting hit by the skeleton. I can actually hit Pete before any of the skellies hit me. And almost. Okay, let's try this once more. And that is the final hit, so time is as soon as the screen fades to black. And there we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I just lost a lot of time in that last room, but there we go. That's a game. You two are a master of wins. Yeah, same TBH. And yeah, we rescue Pluto. Let's go. We finally rescued all of her friends. So yeah, we're back together, and yes, it turns out Pete told them that this was their day off, because as it turns out, he was jealous of their show, and he really wanted to be a part of it. So Mickey's like, yeah, I forgive you, and then he's like, you can join, and everybody lived happily ever after. So it's a pretty wholesome ending, and it's just in time to get things ready, and it will be a wonderful show. Thanks for your GGs, everybody. Okay, I must say, aside from that room at the end, that went pretty well, so can't complain. And it's always nice to get a sub 30, really. That's sort of my goal, usually, whenever I try to finish a run, but yeah, within 30 minutes we got the whole group together, and we're doing the show. Isn't that great? Yeah, so as Paz pointed out, I was mentioning it earlier, there's a fan translation if you want to play this game in English, and that way I was able to figure out a little bit more about the story itself. There's some in-between dialogues as well. They're not super eventful, it's very functional, like, okay, I found you, please go back and rehearse and all that. So it's pretty to the point, but at least it gives you a bit of an idea what the story is. But yeah, there's this game, Mickey no Tokyo Disneyland Daiboken. It was certainly an adventure. Hope you all enjoyed. For those who love the Magical Quest series or other Disney games, this really feels comparable to the Capcom games, I feel, and I can definitely recommend playing this. It's a pretty underrated gem, and there's a lot of really cool mechanics in it, and casually it's a fun one. Speedrun is also fun. Yeah, shouts to the other runners. There's a couple of us, but if you want to learn the run, hit any of us up for all the tips that you need. I was willing to help out. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, there's a couple of them in the chat as well. Eric's and Dolores Fred are also runners. And yeah, that was the final run for Retrothon for me. Glad I got to show both of these games off, this and Panic Restaurant. So yeah, thanks again to RGL for having me do these games. Always a pleasure contributing. And yeah, if you want to see more various, if you want to see more variety speedrunning, lots of retro stuff, feel free to drop me a follow over at twitch.tv/janglestorm. I do tend to work on various other games, but yeah. I think that's it for me, really. So I think, yeah, so there's going to be more Disney games coming up after this, so be sure to stick around for that. Also, for the remainder of the marathon, there's some more stuff coming up. It's been a really fun week so far. So yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you around. Peace.